States, Hillary Clinton.
Thank you so much, Amber, and thank you, Eleanor. I am thrilled to have Amber's endorsement, and it means a lot to me, and I am thrilled to have Eleanor's endorsement as well. I want to start by thanking the school for having us all here. Pine Middle School, thank you very much. And Washoe County School District and Tracy Davis, Superintendent, thank you for letting us hold this event here. I want to thank the Reno Gay Men's Chorus. Thank you so much for that stirring entertainment. And all of you for being here with me today. I am glad to be back in Reno, glad to be having this chance to talk about what's at stake in this election and to get you to start thinking about what we need when we look to the future for our country. Now, I'm going to start by saying something that happens to be true, but whenever I say it, my Republican friends don't like me to say it, and that's this. Our economy does better when we have a Democrat in the White House. I mean, really, unemployment is lower, incomes are higher, and you are 4 more times likely to have a recession when you have a Republican in the White House. Now, this is true based on all of the analysis of economic data going back, but I want us to just focus on the last 35 years. We've had 5 presidents, 3 Republicans and 2 Democrats. I know both of those Democrats. And I can tell you, each of them inherited economic problems from their Republican predecessors. Now, in my husband's case, it was an economy starting to go into recession and the quadrupling of our national debt in the prior 12 years. I remember when Bill was elected and he was asked shortly after that election, "What is it you think you bring to Washington?" And he thought for a minute and he said, "Well, I guess arithmetic." And he got to work, and after 8 years, we had 23 million new jobs. Incomes went up for everybody. The top, the middle, working folks, and most importantly, more people were lifted out of poverty who got into jobs than at any time in our recent history, and we ended up with a balanced budget and a surplus. Now, you would think that that would be good news, wouldn't you? I joined the Senate in January of 2001, and I was excited about all the things we could have invested in because we were, with this surplus, in control of our fiscal destiny. And in fact, we were on a path to pay down the national debt. Yes, hard to believe today. But the Republican president, who followed my husband, had different ideas about what should happen. And he began dismantling that fiscal responsible agenda, literally piece by piece. Cut taxes on the wealthy, got out of the way of corporations, took their eyes off the financial market and the mortgage market, and you know what happened. So after the 2008 election, I got a call from President-elect Obama and asked me to come see him in Chicago. I didn't know why. It turned out he wanted me to be Secretary of State. But before we got to that, he said to me, "It is so much worse than they told us." I said, "You know, I've heard that before." And indeed it was. And people in Nevada know how bad it was, right? Our country was losing 800,000 jobs a month. 9 million Americans lost their jobs. 5 5 million lost their homes. $13 trillion in family wealth was wiped out. Nevada had one of the highest foreclosure rates in the country. Unemployment jumped to what, 14.5%? And it was a terrible situation that was handed off from the prior Republican president to the incoming Democratic president. And I don't want people to forget that. I want Democrats to vote for me, but I want sensible Republicans to vote for me too. The only way the Republicans can win this election is if they can induce a state of amnesia in all of us. Now, I don't think President Obama gets the credit he deserves for making sure we didn't fall into a Great Depression. So, we got ourselves, thanks to the hard work of millions of Americans, we got ourselves out of that ditch. So we're standing, but we're not yet running. What is the next task facing our president? Well, I'll tell you. I'm going to do everything I can to create more good-paying jobs and to raise incomes, because Americans need a wage increase, which we haven't had in years. I'm going to build on what we've achieved. We've recovered 13 million jobs. The president's policies saved the auto industry, began the crackdown on Wall Street through Dodd-Frank, passed the Affordable Care Act, and I think it's fair to say, if you listen to those running on the Republican side, they want to undo all of that progress. They really want to turn the clock back with policies that did not work. They're still all wedded to trickle-down economics. They want to cut taxes on the wealthy and give more giveaways to the corporations. This election will decide whether they get their way again. And it's imperative that voters make an informed choice. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make sure we create more good-paying jobs. And here are a couple of things that I've already proposed or will be in the weeks and months ahead. Number one, we can create millions of good jobs in repairing and building and maintaining the bridges, the roads, the tunnels, the airports, the ports, the rail systems. This, my friends, this should be a no-brainer. This is not only good to create jobs, this will make us more competitive as an economy. There's so much work to be done. It's good work. I think that it's just hard to explain why the Republican Congress won't pass a highway bill. When I was in the Senate, we had our differences, but we ended up agreeing and we passed a highway bill. They can't even decide that. So projects are held up, there's unpredictability, people can't be hired. This is not the way to get things done in America. Number two, I believe there are millions of good-paying jobs to be had from clean, renewable energy. And happen to think climate change is real, and we should be combating it and trying to avoid the worst impacts. You know what they say on the other side when they're asked about climate change. They all say, well, I'm not a scientist. You know, my response is, go talk to a scientist. There are a lot of them around. You can go to the university here in Reno. I'm sure we can find a couple to talk to you about it. But look at what's happening just here in Nevada. And I give a lot of credit to your Senator Harry Reid, who has focused on clean energy jobs. I'm setting some big goals. I want us to see if we can't get 500 million more solar panels installed by the end of my first term and enough clean energy to power every home by the end of my second term. And I think it's way past time that we took the subsidies for oil and gas and put them to work for clean, renewable energy jobs. We also have to fix the tax code, which is riddled with exceptions and giveaways to corporations, to billionaires, and I have a long list of what we're going to go after, because I am sick and tired of what we have just seen with this giant pharmaceutical merger, where these companies are leaving America to cut their taxes when they should be staying here and investing in the people and the opportunities that will build our economy. Look, it's very simple for me. The wealthy pay too little, and the middle class pays too much. Every single one of the proposals I am